Hello, good evening everyone. Very warm welcome to you all on the 6th day of the 7 days executive development program. My sincere gratitude to ICAI President CA Neha Jambusaria sir, ICAI Vice President CA Dr. Devashish Mitra sir,
Recording has started.
ICAI's Acting Secretary CA Dr. Jaya Batra. This initiative is a program of Committee for Members in Industry and Business under the leadership of Central Council members CA Hansraj Chugh sir and Vice Chairman CA Durgesh Kabra sir. Now, this is a series of program which is therefore recently qualified, wherein we started engaging with the newly qualified you all from the Jan 21 examination, and then we are moving backwards and we are now into the November 19 examination, and we have a participants from November 19 or beyond. And we are very happy to see you here each and every day. And we are very happy with your feedback, which you are giving to us, that how much difference it is making. Yesterday, after the technology day, I got many messages regarding that we are looking forward for technology, and I assured that in the future programs also, technology will be an integral part of it. But interviews is above technology. You all have asked so many questions that how we can ensure that from the route of HR, selecting our CV to you onboarding it, and also that how you can look at the opportunities all around the world. So there are two things which are critically important, and both the questions will be answered today. And I'm very happy that we have two great learned speakers who will be taking these sessions, which at the end of 2 hours today will be making a significant impact in the lives of everyone, whether we are young or old. Because these learnings remain same for everyone. With experiences, the things change, but the basic concepts remain same. So today we start with Ms. Preety Singhal, and Ms. Preety is the owner of Premier Protocol School, the leading institute in providing niche, certified and customized training on corporate etiquettes, dining skills, dressing for success, effective communication, non-verbal and verbal, being professional at presentation skills and success at interviews. She is certified as a corporate etiquette and international protocol consultant from the world-renowned school based out of USA, experienced through teaching hard skills at Delhi University. Backed by a strong academic background, where it includes Modern School, SRCC, and Delhi School of Economics. She has trained a diverse portfolio of corporates, individuals, and institutes like IHC Delhi, SCM HRD Pune, ICAI, ICSI, IARI, and has helped her trainees boost their hiring and rising quotient in their professional journey. In our last series, like this is a series of programs, she shared her knowledge with us on corporate etiquettes, and today she will be taking us through some really practical advice, not just on succeeding at interviews, but even getting called for it. This is a question you asked, that how you can be called for an interview, and this is what will be answered today. So with this, please help us welcome Ms. Preety Singhal with a big virtual round of applause. Preety, thank you so much with us, and thank you for taking out time and being here with us in the series. Your association with ICAI over a decade is extremely wonderful, and we are very thankful for your continued support and very happy to see you again soon here. So looking forward to your session. Floor is yours. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, President ICAI, CA Nehar Jambusaria, Vice President CA Dr. Devashish Mitra, Then Committee for Members for Industry and Business Chairman Hansrachuk, C. Hansrachuk ji, Vice President C. A. Durgesh Kabra ji, and my two great facilitators, I'll say Vanakkam to Ranganathan ji and my Sat Sri Akal to Prabdeep ji out there. Your invite to me just 13 days before, on the 13th of May, for corporate etiquettes, and now for pandemic interviews, really tells me one thing, that while these trainings were useful and relevant earlier also, they've become so much accessible now. Ranganathan ji and Prabdeep ji, there's no one denying here that leave apart my interviewees. In 2014, when this question was put to anyone, and I mean to say anyone, and the question goes, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? I guess nobody got the answer right to that question because we had a pandemic in 2019. So initially, so to say, with the pandemic coming up, the travel, transport, entertainment, hospitality, hotels, they all got affected somehow. But the trickle-down effect soon passed on or engulfed many other industries and business organizations. So what happened really was that all these businesses and companies started thinking of newer strategies, whether with respect to sustainability in the long run, whether with respect to cost-cutting strategies. And cost-cutting really came in two different ways. A, stop hiring new employees completely, and start laying off existing employees. Newer developments, we've recently heard Facebook following other tech giants and saying or announcing, literally, that it's giving an option to its employees to work from anywhere after the pandemic is over also. Now, what that means is, just leave apart AI or artificial intelligence eating onto our jobs. Now we'll also be competing on a very global platform with people who provide similar services like us. Am I overwhelming you people? Am I sounding that I would be intimidating to you? Don't be. Because it's going to be the opposite way also. I mean, vice versa is true for you also. And secondly, I'm going to take you today to some added skills. I'm not saying new skills. They were always relevant before also, but added skills now because they're the need of the hour. You demonstrate those skills to your interviewer. And yes, you increase your chances of being hired by them. So are you all in here for this journey with me to learn those new skill sets? Yes or no? Let's hear something from on the chat box. Yes or no? Want to learn those skills? And if yes, okay. The first thing I would say, and the biggest skill, the skill sets are here to say, but the biggest skill, empathy. And with the pandemic really taking over the lives of everybody in some real brutal ways, there are a lot of probable questions that you're always asked, which are commonplace. Questions like, what are your strengths? Tell us something about yourself. Why should we hire you in the first place? Now, always we've been showing our professional skills or technical skills. Now is the time to show that other than knowing all these skills and other than all these skills, the knowledge and utilizing it, we are kind and compassionate too. That we can cope with uncertainties and the pressure situations bring to us. That's so relevant in today's times. How do you show this? Evidence and back it up with examples through some real, crisp volunteering activities that you have done. Showcase them somehow. I mean, not only do they look super impressive on your resumes, but you show your human side too. I'm not asking Prabdeep ji here, because very recently I read his post on LinkedIn where he mentions that how some organizations and companies are becoming ethical in the process. And he goes on to name, I think, Hershey's or Cadbury, but then our homegrown Tata was to be really named in a big way because there are companies whose employees have succumbed to COVID-19, and the companies are really taking up funding the education, for example, or medical expenditures of the people who are the successors of those employees. So really the companies are really coming up in a big way to show that they're kind, they're ethical, they're compassionate. My question to all those trainees who are listening to me today, who've logged in for this important session, how have you shown your empathy so far? And if not, how do you wish to do that? I've heard a lot of trainees of mine who've told me that they've gone in and distributed PPE kits, masks, sanitizers, enrolled in some NGOs. And the good part is they're backing that up as evidence because, frankly, a lot of times we do have fake internships and we do hear of people doing fake volunteering. So it's for any interview, while it's really essential that you back up anything that you say with substantial claims, it goes all the more for volunteering activities. Ranganathan ji, what do you have to say on the empathy part? Because I've heard Prabdeep ji. So how do you think you have shown empathy? Putting yourself in other people's shoes and feeling their pleasure or pain. Kindness and compassionate being that we are. Or we could just ask this to our trainees as to how they have shown empathy in today's times when it's really the most required skill.
Yeah, I was in hospital and in cremation ground and arranging this ambulance in Delhi for 3 people not related to me.
Yeah.
So putting myself into danger, but fortunately I did not contact the disease. I was careful enough, but then getting people to help was very difficult.
Yeah. Wow, that's wonderful, isn't it? Which moves on to the second skill called it's discipline. We all know that our schedules have been thrown off. And the one major important question is how do you maintain productivity at such critical times when we are working from home? How do you maintain that discipline, self-discipline in such times when, nobody's noticing you and there's no micromanaging from office? These are some important questions which are more relevant and could be asked now in the interview room. Are you prepared? Please demonstrate your human side. It's okay to admit that your schedule fell off the place, but it's equally important to showcase them and tell them that while it went off the place, you took necessary steps, whether that was scheduling your wake up or sleep time, or even fitness regime for that matter. Whether it was, for example, scheduling your login and log out times, which is so essential. Whether you invested in new ergonomic chair for yourself because you know that you need to be disciplined and you need to be on a work desk rather than on the bed. Whether you invested in Bluetooth or headphones, if your inbuilt mic was not in place. Whether you invested in a stronger Wi-Fi for yourself. Now, these things might seem simple to hear, but they go a long way in showing how you kept up yourself more productive, more disciplined. Having set schedules which you had when you were actually going to the workplace is missing in so many people. And probably you could mention that you rewarded yourself at the end of the day by watching Netflix series over the weekends. That sounds very realistic answers, so to say. Prabdeep ji, what do you have to say about your discipline going off the track and how did you maintain it? And then we can also throw this question to our interviewees today.
Yeah, for me, it was a very short time that I worked from home. Because we had a very limited lockdown here. So for me, the life did not change significantly for pandemic. But we have our daily prayers to be done, which helps us, to see that we get up on time and we are ready. And that first step helps us to maintain that. And then it's all about get going on the calls, on the work, and continuing with it as and when we need to do.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. Which takes me to our third skill, which is being proactive. So what's happening is, the trust factor has really gone missing. Why that's gone missing? Because earlier the interviewers would meet you face to face. They would have an interview with you. There would be social encounterings in corridors, office cafeteria. There was a lot of handshake. There was a lot of eye contact. Now, with all that missing, really, please think on the other side of the table how employers think. They are thinking, oh my God, am I doing the right thing by hiring this candidate? Will he be able to pull through in difficult or critical times? So it's so much important for you when they ask you a question, for example, how do your managers describe you? If you can demonstrate you're the one who does not wait for the work to come to you, but you reach out for the work yourself. I know, we all love that comfort zone of ours where today we say, oh, today the work was light, so I can really do things that I like doing. But then with the pandemic coming up here, we all want to show that we are not work shirkers, that we are responsible people, that the moment my one project is complete or one assignment is done, I reach out to my team member or other colleagues and say, any other thing that I can help you out with? So really what we are looking here is, please try to dispel. That's the whole point that I want to make today. Please try to dispel any iota of doubt, concern, or issues your prospective employer might have of you in hiring you. Because today, getting jobs has become so difficult. So you really want to put yourself out there. Ranganathanji, how do we show our that we are proactive at our work? And I'm sure you are. I know that. I can just vouch for it. But is there some way you feel that you can reach out to other people by showing how proactive you are? Or we could throw this question to our listeners today, how they have shown to their current managers with whom they're working that they have what it takes to show them that we are responsible, we are not work shirkers, we reach out for our work ourselves. How can we do that?
Yeah, we'll have to give them 30 seconds to 1 minute for the response to be typed and then displayed here. Yeah, the response has started to come. But then how I show my proactiveness is I participate in discussions, I give ideas, I give sessions, and after the meeting, I follow it up by supplementing sessions with some more papers or documents or some examples that I can quote. Yeah. Then I always volunteer that in case you need help, I'm available.
Super, wonderful out there. That's fabulous. So I'm waiting for responses or move on to the next skill. Okay. My next skill, you can just interrupt me anytime, Ranganathan, once the trainees are done, would be learner for a lifetime. I'm not wrong in telling all of you out there that COVID has been the best teacher for all of us out there on this planet Earth. The best teacher. So the questions like, what did you learn from this pandemic? What are your takeaways? And I think while each of us had learned a lot of lessons, which we can implement even in our personal lives, the more important thing here to mention is which would be relevant to the job, your learnings which are relevant to the job. Now, please demonstrate if you have undertaken, let's say, new courses, because people had time to themselves. The various platforms where you can go up and do some free and paid courses and upgrade your skills at the same time. I'd say Coursera is out there. Then there is edX. Then there is Udemy. Then there is people are learning languages on Duolingo. So the world is your oyster. So did you learn any of these free or paid courses? Please highlight them, mention them. Did you learn how to experiment with some new technology? And I'm not just talking about Zoom. We've had Cisco, we've had WebEx, we've had BlueJeans. Did you utilize some new tools? Now, I heard a lot of managers are wanting to manage remotely through some tools which really help them in a big way. Few that I heard was Trello, I heard Slack, I heard Dropbox, I heard Backpack too. Now, the things are, people are utilizing these tools to learn something new. What are your learnings? And I think the most important learning that you can do is, you know that the visual or face-to-face is completely missing out there. And there are a lot of times, and I subscribe to this view to my interviewees, that it's important for you to showcase your accomplishments. You're doing something good. Let that be known to your seniors, your team leaders, your colleagues. But with an online system happening, earlier it was so much easier. You could just walk into the cubicle or encounter them in the corridors. If you can say that when you learned that working from home was the new norm, you learned that you should be communicating more frequently, more periodically, and more effective with your seniors, bosses, other team members, colleagues, etc. Not just for reviews, not just for feedback, but also in a major way to talk about the accomplishments that you have done. And while I make this point, I also want to say it's modesty is a great virtue. But, when you're in an interview, you could just take a step back and don't be so modest. Don't be so shy. A, they don't know you at all. You will be speaking. You're your own ambassador. That's so important. And B, you're competing with others at the same time. So all those introverted, modest trainees who are listening to me today, I'll say really go gung-ho and go out there and showcase your accomplishments to the world, whether through utilizing social media in a big way, but you must know which media does what. That's very important to know to showcase your online presence. So, Prabdeep, what is real?
Preety, before you ask me a question, I have to put a question to you. This is a question we have been getting from the first day, and also today, I think 3 people have asked this question. And, even though you are not from our profession, but considering you're more than a decades of experience, you will know about it. Is that sometimes we face challenges in clearing in first or second attempt. It happens that when we are doing our articleship and in that period we don't pass out, and then when we don't pass out, we have completed the articleship, we have to do something, we get on to the work, and when we join the work, then it disturbs our studies. Then my 1 attempt can become 10 attempts, then 15 attempts. So there are some organizations which say that, okay, in campus, like they may look at first or second, but we move out from campus now. Later on, when such individual who is appearing interview, then how, the question is that how we can show to the organization that we are not less from the people, those who have cleared in first or second attempt. So this is the problem which many of our multi-attempt members face. I feel that this is not a problem when we have to get a job, but this is in the mind somewhere, it's troubling our members significantly. How we can, get rid of this?
In fact, a great question, Prabdeep, you asked. And I heard somewhere that if somebody wants to climb Mount Everest, then there are a lot of people who can easily reach the base camp. But if you need to reach the summit, there would be some critical skills that you would be requiring to be at the top. And here, when I'm hearing of the young professionals wanting to just get in the job, I'm not really talking of real critical or soft skills. Few things, please be disciplined, please manage yourself well. The 24 hours remain the same for all of us. Now, it's just how you prioritize your time, because you know that you're going to also be, preparing for your CA exams. You're also appearing for an interview at the simultaneously. The same 24 hours, if you just earmark yourself, how you're going to go ahead with this. So time management, sound, effective time management will be a big thing that you can do for yourself. And in that, really gaining professional knowledge and technical skills. And by the way, if you can showcase that despite your failed attempts, don't you think failures are the stepping stone of success? And I do hear one famous psychologist who said, if you have an average mind, you are superior. First of all, let's not think we failed. I think a lot of times what happens is once we failed once, there is this chain because we don't look back at our mistakes as to what went wrong. And therein, I would really advocate in a very serious way something called as a pre-mortem, not a post-mortem. Pre-mortem or prospective hindsight. Now, this is not my idea. I was listening to Daniel Levitin, and he talks about these two terms. And he says, please think ahead of the few things that can go wrong for you anywhere across the globe, not just the interview. Try to fix them right now, today. So the first interview that you could not clear, whether or not you're doing, these are excuses that we say, I was doing this attempt, that attempt. Let's just figure it out, work on your skills, figure out what went wrong for you in the first interview, in the first place, so that you don't repeat it the second time. I say really work hard, really work smart, really upgrade your skills, really have your technical skills in place, really have your professional skills, and also have soft skills. While technical skills would account for 15% of the reason you get employed, but to keep a job and to rise in a job, 85% of the times it's your soft skills which would come in handy. So I know there's a break, and frankly, let me also go ahead and say it's not just about article shape and the things you mentioned. There are a lot of people who have career gaps.
Yeah. This I correct. With many women, we have gaps, So that's also there. That's the reason I forgot to tell you. That's also there.
So I really want to, if there's a platform anywhere where HR gets to hear me, I want to tell them, please, career gap is not a crime. Because I've also heard a lot of trainees, and not just women trainees, the men who are wanting to change their line, the people who are moving from consultancy to industry. And there is a gap, of course, not too much, because there is always the burden of them being the breadwinner or the earners of the family. But the more important question is, I want to tell HR, career gap is not a crime. I want to tell them that asking at an entry level and 8 to 10 years of experience and offering them the salary of a graduate, please, not fair. And I also want to make an urge, somehow, somewhere, if you can hear me, please look beyond those 2 pages of CV. There could be a candidate who's not really great at drafting a CV, but he might be too good on the table. He might get something for you which is fresh, which is rewarding. Now is the time to really introspect, and it's not just asking about empathy. It's about fairness. It's about ethics. Okay, I'll just tone down a bit. That's a great question. Do we have any other questions before I move on to the next skill?
Yeah, we have some comments. Jaya says that he completed 20 courses during pandemic.
Yeah.
And he says that it made him realize that not just work, but good diet, exercise, and yoga, meditation is also really very important for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have another comment from someone, from a participant who says that, today he received a call from KPMG. But when he told them that he's having 12 attempts, they disconnected the call. So there may be some organizations who have a criteria, and people, those who may have called, they do not know significantly that, okay, what is the approach they have to take. But I feel, this is my personal opinion, Preety, like many of our speakers who have come in the last 18 days, they have said that we may not be that experienced, but we have to be confident and show to the other people that, we have an interest in resolving their problems, even if our experience is less, but enthusiasm to come forward. And okay, fine. If I believe that if there are some organizations who are very stringent on it, there are not just 1 or 2 organizations. The world is full of limitless organizations. So that's
absolutely. There you go. So I tell Jay, pandemic has taught this to everybody. Jaan hai, jahan hai. We are saying health is number 1. It's paramount, and then comes everything else. So you're so right in whatever you have learned, despite doing 20 courses. And the most important thing is how you take care of yourself. That's a great valid point that Jay made here. And the second thing that I want to tell the person, I'm forgetting his name, who had to tell that he had attempted 12 attempts and then they disconnected the phone.
Yeah, I'm keeping it anonymous. The name is anonymous.
Yes,
So
that's okay. Wonderful. I really want to say, do not tell until asked. So there's a rule that you don't lie in the interview room ever. Lie has very short life. But ask things or tell things when you're asked. So if you yourself told them, I think this is a big red flag to our own careers or jeopardizing it in whichever way that we can. So next time, just be a little careful. Don't mention it on your own. But if they ask you, well, the moment you tell about your attempts, you know it's going to be viewed negatively. Please substantiate it with some positive skill. You know, the most dangerous question I feel, Prabdeep ji, out there is
yes,
tell me about your weakness. And when you tell your own weakness, even without asking, that's the biggest
yeah,
blunder that we can do. I'd say tell a weakness, in fact, which is not relevant to the job that you're doing. For example, for the
yeah.
strengths, I'll say tell a strength, list out a strength which is relevant for your job. But when it comes to the weakness, I'll say mention something which is irrelevant for the job. And please, it's not just that. When you say something like this, please tell how did you fix up that problem. It's simply telling this is my weakness is not enough. Candidates really need to know that they need to step ahead and tell what they did about that weakness. Herein lies the winning game. So if you went for that interview and let's say they asked you how many attempts, you be honest with them, but just don't stop. Tell them few things you did, you learned, the few skills that I've been mentioning since the beginning of this session, like empathy, new learning skills, new development courses. You've done some great courses, your accomplishments. So try to mention those so that it's viewed in a positive way. Okay. Any
Right.
more questions, Ranganathan ji?
Yeah. Yes, yes. We have one question from Shraddha. Shraddha, this question we will be taking up in the next session. It will be answered. She asked about approach which we should take for abroad opportunities. So this will be answered there. But I need to ask you, you know, from the girls, this question is coming that if I'm asked this question that, okay, fine, you are ready to work for us now, but you may get married in 2 years. So how to answer this, because whether there will be consistency which will remain or other issues which will come up. So how
Okay.
girls can tackle this question?
Um, Back to square one. I feel, and with so many women out there listening to me, marriage is not the end of the world. If it were, why would we be looking out for suitable matches? And frankly, from my own experience, I was teaching in Jesus and Mary College before my marriage or wedding. And then I thought of getting in the family way and raising my kids and took a sabbatical. And then I thought, this is not the end of the world. So you have supportive people around you, especially your spouse and people who promote you in your life, and there is no looking back. So I went all the way to the US, pursue my trainings in soft skills from the number one school in the whole world which gives trainings on soft skills. And then I come back, and the rest is for you all to decide. So being a woman, it's very important that we highlight we are not a lesser gender in any which way, that marriage affects you as much as it affects men, but you get some perks. You're not the bread earner, so to say, so you can have your little breaks here and there. You're lucky. But, and please don't showcase that marriage with, they ask you this. I know they ask you this is because they really want to test if you're the right candidate being a woman. So if you show that you're an ambitious woman, you're career driven, there's nothing stopping you. It's just how you feel about yourself. So there is no one size fits all category here. But what you feel about yourself being a woman and in the workplace, how do you feel that? That's more imperative. Any more questions, Ranganathan ji and Pradeep ji?
No, nothing. Now we can move on.
Okay. Move on to my fifth skill and the most important one out there. So they say that it's not important what your work is, but who you work with, which is the most favorite skill I'm coming to, leadership skills. Who you work with. And I read somewhere, you are an average of the 5 people you have worked with in the past. And if I may take cues from here, leadership skills. Did you try in the pandemic time noticing how your leaders have changed their styles to adapt to this new difficult situation? How they are managing working remotely? So you would realize one thing is common. Micromanaging is a passive. Probably what they're doing is you're on video calls. And so the role has become more of participative, collaborative of the leaders than authoritarian. So they would see somebody's photograph staring at them, a picture staring at them, because that person is there present in the video. But he chooses not to show himself or his background, and just a picture is posed there. Can you tell him to just come out? And if he's comfortable, there are people whose mics are forever muted. So if the leader takes a chance to be participative and can say, hey, you never speak up. Let's hear what Jigar has to say to us today. Maybe Jigar just surprises them with his feedback. I think it's so important that, and it has to be fun also. So the leader probably is not just doing all these things by communicating them in a more participative way, but fun things like arranging virtual holiday parties, virtual coffee with all of them. I think that should be a great idea to get the connectivity happening. The question is, did you notice the new leadership styles your senior manager, your team manager, your leader is bringing onto the table just so that he connects with you? Think about it, because you know what? Even you would want to hire, you want to go up the corporate ladder in the hierarchy, right? Isn't it? So learn these skills through observation. Any question that I can take after this?
You can take, Preety, you were talking about 85% of the skills, which matter are soft skills at that time you mentioned. So Rupesh, he wants to know that if you can elaborate more on what do we cover in soft skills, elaborate on that.
Yeah, wonderful. Ritesh, right? Did I get the name right? Rupesh, for example, there's a recommender recommending somebody and he gets a job. He has reasonable hard skills. Hard skills is what you studied in college, etc. And so that the guy even gets through the job, right? Now he's working there in the office. The important question is, does he rise in the job? One thing is to get the job. Do you rise in the job? And when you rise in the job, you do this at your own accord, because the person who recommended you and you got you the job is nowhere now. You require soft skills. And what are soft skills? Soft skills are the ones I'd say they're the scene when you convey your message emphatically to people. It could be communication. How you communicate with people. And please do not get me wrong, it just does not mean English entirely. While the entire nation is running after English, just being able to convey your ideas, thoughts, expressions, views to people. Are you presentable? Do you know how to carry yourself with your business dressing? We did that session on corporate etiquettes with last time with you. It was all about how do you know how to introduce people? Do you know how to introduce other two people when you know them? Do you know how to hand out business cards? Do you know how to dine? Are you people's people? In short, because you know what, frankly, Rupesh, people like people who like people. Get your soft skills out in the front. Soft skills is anything and everything other than what you studied in school. What you studied in school was merely rote learning. You got through, you cracked your exam even because you just wrote everything that was written in the book just like that. But beyond those skills, like you said, be street smart. Now, I'm not saying be street smart, but I'm saying have the requisite skills to be seen and to see in other people. Because once you start seeing, then you see, what do I have in me? Where can I contribute? Where do I need to learn? Where do I go from here? So, for example, I just go a little more overboard if you wish me to. All communications across the globe, may I say, happen with two things in mind. Not just with what do they want, WDTW, understanding what does the other person want, but also WIIFM, what's in it for me? And when you understand these things, that's soft skills. That's soft skills, my friend. So I cannot highlight the importance of soft skills anymore because I stopped teaching in JMC, hard skills. I was teaching economics. And then I thought that's not what everybody needs. And I packed up my bags and learned soft skills and now spreading soft skills to all of you through these seminars too. Because they're so important, Pesh. I hope I hit the right chord, Prabdeep. What do you have to say about this?
Yeah, perfectly fine. 2 points came to my mind when you were saying this. I read somewhere that, why lunch meetings happen. Because lunch meetings are very good meetings to crack the business deals. Because when we are having the same food, then, it affects our brain system and nerves in such a way that success of the deal becomes very fast. And also the second thing is that there may be a possibility that when we are in an evening cocktail or evening kind of a networking meetings, and when we are drinking together, not necessarily drink mocktails also. So that makes a difference because that is the time when, people are not that stressed out. They are relieving their stress. So they may talk openly about some projects. And you may get to know some projects. So therefore, we should know that how we have to engage at that point of time. We are introvert and we are not able to engage.
Yeah.
But then we have examples of leaders like Bill Gates and other people, those who are so big. So I think it's all in our mind. We can definitely engage and prosper.
Very valid point. I think, Prabdeep ji, you just hit the nail on the head because when I do Dine Like a Diplomat program, I tell people that the lunch event, for example, that you mentioned, or cocktails and other events, they are not held thinking the employees or whoever's working in the office, the team people are hungry or thirsty. Actually, that's counterproductive to the idea. So the whole thing is networking and called relationship management in a big way. Networking loosely, but relationship management, so to say. Yeah. So, more questions, or do I move on to my next skill?
These days, I actually that more than lunch or dinner meeting, breakfast meetings are more successful for two reasons. For two reasons. One is that the breakfast is very fresh in your mind and you just rush to office. You have a whole day to strike the deal. Yeah. Otherwise, after dinner, you go off to sleep and then you may have new ideas next day morning. So breakfast is one thing. And secondly, breakfast outside the house is normally more sumptuous than what you had inside the house.
I'm sure my husband would validate what you're saying here on this. And such great insights, Ranganathan ji. I'm going to update my slides when I do Dine Like a Diplomat. Please go for breakfast, for meetings and clinching a deal, then lunches and dinners. Point there. Great.
Hi, Jaya wants to say something.
Yeah. Hi, Preety. In fact, I unmuted and, did the video on because your words really resonate with it. It's my pet subject, soft skills. And we, as chartered accountants, I must confess, don't pay as much attention to soft skills as we should. Because ultimately, in an interview or, when you do a Zoom session these days, it's soft skills that take you there. It's not your technical qualification, So this resonates so much that I wanted to compliment you on bringing this to the fore. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I'm sure I'm learning a couple of skills from you too, Jaya, after I log out, finish off with my session today. Okay, which brings me to my sixth skill. It's so relevant in today's times, adaptability. A probable question, which the prospective employers might ask of you. Are you ready to work from office when the pandemic gets over? They're checking you. Are you flexible enough? So you have to really showcase them that you are ready as an entry level young professional who's looking out for the job, that yes, you can work on different projects, different working hours, different time zones, different assignments. And yes, from home as much in office with the equal level of comfort level at both the places. So until you showcase these skills, there is likely to be a limit of how best we can be picked up and started working for the jobs. So Ranganathan ji, do we have a question? Can you tell us or ask our trainees how they have shown their flexibility to their employers, to the people who are they working with their team members?
Yeah, there are comments appreciating what we have been saying now. That is, they are saying thank you. There is one Mr. Sinha who feels that does this skill in computers also as necessary as soft skill? Well, of course, everybody has to know computers well.
Okay, so one thing I lack, I would like to say, is really digital marketing in a big way. So if that is what you meant by computers, because world is moving digitally, the online presence is moving ahead. So if you think of skills and knowledge in computers, I would really say yes, digital marketing is here to stay, because whatever work you're doing, whatever work, even if you're seeking employment for yourself, you would want to be on social media like LinkedIn, which takes me to my next step. I mean, I really want you to cut your chase to your dream job. To me, dream job is a misnomer, so to say. Does not exist. But yes, if you really want to cut your do your chase to the dream job, I'd say number one, please think of what you can do with your profile picture. You could think of having a very professional, pleasing profile picture on LinkedIn for yourself. On a portrait mode, by the way. Your headline is equally important because your interviewers search you for the job by your job description. So make your headline really keyword rich, job description and job title rich, what you're currently looking for or what you currently are. So if you do that, for example, mine is I'm a corporate etiquette and international protocol consultant. So if I would type this, how many people are looking for international and protocol? Not too many. But if I could replace it with, let's say, corporate etiquette trainer, exec coach, guide, mentor. Yes, many people for universities, institutes, professionals. Yeah, many people would be looking out for such words. That's very important. And here another advice I could give you is something called as a summary on your LinkedIn profile. Now, why I'm going on LinkedIn profile is because don't you think with your work experience, with your educational qualifications written out there, it's your e-resume. Just think about it. People who are searching, you're just reading through that. Your skills, everything is mentioned there. So please work on it. Now, what do we do with the summary? And this tip comes really handy for people who are entry level and don't have too much of work experience. Think of the fields, think of the things that you have done, but which you could not place in the LinkedIn profile in your work experience or educational qualifications. Just write them down somewhere. Join them through a story. People like stories. LinkedIn is coming up with a new platform called LinkedIn Stories. It's just recently announced that. Rather than listening to a post, they like to listen to stories. So if you could say, during my teenage days at 18 or so and so, blah, 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 have your story, put those 3 points which you could not place, leave it up there and place it there. Stories with a takeaway, with a message are so engaging. The other things possibly that you could do for yourself, it feels that most of the time, even when I receive a lot of messages on LinkedIn are congratulation messages on my work anniversaries. Or here's my resume for your perusal. Please let me know of some opportunities. And if you think that's how we are engaging with the HR or our connections on a LinkedIn family, so to say, I'm so sorry to say. I want to take a poll and ask, how many of you have been successful utilizing this strategy and getting a job? Sending in messages, your CVs through there, and how many of you have been really successful with that? On a poll. And I'm sure I don't even need to take that. No one.
Right.
It's because networking is a two-way street. And if you're looking at jobs, please, not just like the posts of the people. Comment on them. Comment on their posts. Comment on the posts in which they're tagged in. There is something called groups, which are small ponds in the big ocean of LinkedIn. I would suggest you post through your photos, your videos, your articles, your blogs. Slide share is there. You can share slides also. And by the way, groups are also the places from where prospective employers are looking out for employees like you. And by the way, there's something called as recommendations. We've all done that. Try looking for some 3 to 4 good recommendations. And please, how you seek them is so important. Reference to them some important project that you have done with them, some common interests. So if they've known you, they've known your work, it's a good idea. They can recommend you. And please don't forget your manners. Go up and thank you. Just write a little thank you note for them that they recommended you in the first place. These are a couple of things. You can set a job alert for the companies you're following on LinkedIn. You can say open to hiring. You can tell something like that. That facilitates job hunting in a big way on LinkedIn. And by the way, there's another feature that I suddenly remember called LinkedIn Premium Membership. Now, I know it's on a paid basis, but look at some of the benefits or perks that it comes with. Certain number of in-mail credits. And what that means is you can send your messages to people who are not connected with you. You can do some courses with them, courses like how to build your own brand, how to network better. Then there are interview questions that you can learn from there, and such great responses. It's structured very well out there. And you can also see, by the way, who watched your profile. But that's not important. And I know there's a little fee. The good news is it's free for a month, so you can try that and see if it works for you. And the moment you take these premium memberships, your visibility through this own search engine, LinkedIn, goes up. And that goes for job portals too. And I want to tell that if there is a job portal, you can really go up and Google them and know what they offer. There's Kelly Services, there's Michael Page, there's Monster India, and there's Naukri.com, and you would know better. Consider getting yourself headhunters. Now, headhunters are the middlemen. They are a link between you and the prospective employers. Of course, you pay them, but they would like you to get into your dream job because they get paid for it. It's as simple as that. So your goals and their goals are pretty much in alignment. So the moment you send them an email through your resume as an attachment, you get a introductory call from them. Please treat it just as you would a face-to-face interview. Just take it like really seriously. And who knows, with these social platforms, with the headhunters, with the job portals that I just mentioned to you, you cut the chase to your dream job. Do we have questions, Prabdeep Singh ji, out there?
We don't have questions, but I would like to comment on something. Today I was there's a LinkedIn influencer from Pakistan here, based out of UAE, and today I was hearing his Urdu video, where he said that he was speaking in Urdu and Punjabi mix. He recommended that considering UAE being a country which has so many nationals, so when you are connecting with the people, don't just connect with your nationality, you connect with the other people, as you were saying, and then comment, engage. And then, there may be many things when you get connected, you get engaged, they may be posting a vacancy, or if they like something, it may get onto you. So then the possibilities of getting the job significantly increase. As Absolutely. You also said that, straight away we connecting with someone and asking that, okay, I'm looking for a job may not work, that every one has recommended. But I must tell you that, in the last 18 days, I must have connected with over 800 participants who came through this portal. Yeah. And not even one asked me for a job directly, not even one individual. So I feel like, everyone understands that what is the approach we need to take, because we are not in that side. When I was also looking for a job, I asked from my senior person who was working in a McKinsey that time. And he never responded to it. And he is based in UAE for the past 4 years. And when he came from Netherlands, and I told him that I want to meet you, let us meet sometime. And he said, yeah, he was not that much interested even to meet. Sometimes it happens that if we are directly onto someone and pushing him for a job, a person may not connect with you. And I'm talking about 4 years back.
Yeah.
I might have once or twice asked him to connect me to the organizations. That's it. But I'm a well-networked person here in UAE, and have engaged in so much of work. So I believe that when you do a voluntary work, when you engage with people, when you get connected with people, indirectly you show that how you can make a difference. I think that works with direct question being put on the job.
Yeah, I totally agree, hands-on with whatever you had to say, Prabdeep ji. And somewhere you mentioned that it's great to be on these platforms because people, they can see some job listings which companies keep posting. So herein I want to say is, while that is good to see the job listings, and that's why we are really telling them in a big way to go on a giant professional networking interface between employer and employee, which is LinkedIn. But here I'd also say that if there's an internal referral from the company, somebody really recommends you who's already working there as an existing employee, there's nothing like it. Because, and I advise all my interviewees here today that nobody is as invested in you as you yourself. So simply sending out the resume to him immediately because he says he's recommending you, he's an internal referral, also does not help. You really need to first speak with him regarding your roles, your responsibilities, your work culture, the team, the salary. There are many issues out there. And then it's like an after thought out decision, then send over a resume. For that matter, some few tips that I saved for the last moment with them. Please also search the interviewer who is going to interview you, if you know who he is. That's so important because once you do that, there could be some common connecting points. Maybe you were the alumna from the same educational institution, or maybe you had a common workplace, or you have some common projects or interests. There could be some great engaging connecting points for the interview. That's so essential. Should I give my jackpot tip? Like I said, practical suggestions. My jackpot tip is, while this internal referral is great, while the interviewer is great because they all are currently working in that company, why don't you search and get connected to the former employee of the same company? Because with the loyalties being little less, he might just spill some beans to you about the company, some true things, which might just work for you, for your interview. Just look at, and this, my friend Rupesh, is soft skills. If I've not been able to help you out on this, then probably nothing will. Can I leave my contact details? And I'm still open to questions, by the way, from all of you. Just allow me a moment, Prabdeep ji. And meanwhile, you can scan the questions that I can take. My contact details out there. My email is preetygsinghal@gmail.com. Yes, there is a G between Preety and Singhal, and the Singhal is not Singhal and certainly not Single anymore. It's a bad joke. You can search me on LinkedIn by my username Preety Singhal. My Facebook page is the PPS Global. The PPS Global. Both the two things I just opened recently because of so many comments and feedback from students that I be on these platforms. So finally, don't freak out if you see only one or two subscribers on my YouTube channel. It's a very recent thing that I've done that. So if you subscribe, who knows, I might just start posting a lot of videos for your benefit. And anything else, Prabdeep ji and Ranganathan?
Yeah, Preety, there is one question. We have spoken a lot about it, but it keeps on coming in, and it has again come in. That is there a structured way to look for a job, whether we are looking in India or abroad? I personally feel that there are so many ways to look for a job. So,
Yeah.
do you have any comment in 60 seconds? Is there a structured way of looking for a job?
Yes, yes,
I
there
don't know
is.
how to
The
answer
number
it.
one structuring tip would be please make an Excel sheet for yourself. Let's have a structure there. Please put down the names of the companies you wish to work for. Please put down the role that you wish to undertake. Please put down in your Excel sheet the connections who you're connected with on LinkedIn and who you wish to connect with. That's a great structure to begin with. Once you realize you're not connected to a couple of people whom you wish to, and they're in your second connections, time for you to connect with them because before, I'm being hearing this news that LinkedIn might just siphon off your second connections in a big way to lure you into their premium membership. So before that happens, I'll say make your second connections as your family or first connection, so to say. And yes, there is a structure. So you go with this, you find headhunters, you have premium memberships on LinkedIn and job portals and anywhere else, and you reach out. More importantly, you reach out people by a phone call. You really network like that. We are on online media, but it's so important because now the visual is missing. The face-to-face connect is missing. Can you just give a call to few people who might help you? But not now. Networking is as fresh as brushing your teeth, Pradeep ji, but you brush your teeth when you
Right.
have a toothache. No, you start much before. So let's do something for people to get something in return. That should help. That's a good structure to begin with. And then move on and flow on in life as you would.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. I would request Ranganathan ji to please propose a vote of thanks to you, Preeti.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure broadcasting a vote of thanks, Ms. Preety. Awesome session indeed. You are very informal and very friendly with your talk. You really connected with people. The last comment about, you spelled single and said you are no longer single. It was not a bad joke at all.
Okay,
I really loved. You didn't hear me laugh because I was on mute. Well,
okay. And a little more friendly, like you said, informal and friendly. So now that they heard me on a very serious topic, all my webinars tomorrow can listen to this or watch the Friends reunion. I'm going to do that. What about you? Okay. And with
very
this note, I shall take your leave because I need to log in again probably to listen to Jaya and
Yes.
her beautiful insights. Thank you. Pleasure is mine to be
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you
And
so
Sat
very
Sri
much. It was
Akal,
really
Pranam.
wonderful.
Sat Sri Akal,
Particularly,
Preeti.
I must mention about that jackpot reference that you said. That
Okay.
get in touch with formal employees. They may definitely spill some beans. Fantastic idea. This
I
is a
had to
practical
because,
idea people are
yeah,
looking forward to. Yeah.
I mentioned the topic's name today for practical suggestions for interviews, and I thought if it's not practical, there's half the maza. So the maza or the zing has to be in
Yes.
that. Okay. I'll take your leave, and the floor is all
Thank you
yours,
so much.
madam. Jaya,
Thank you.
Thank you.
I shall be taking your leave and
Bye bye.
probably listen to recording. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. We now move on to our second session where we continue with the opportunities and we look at opportunities abroad and how you can succeed in grabbing it with one of our very senior member, CA Jaya Malingam, who is based out of Dubai, UAE. Jaya Mahalingam is a result-oriented and effective finance professional with over 30 years financial and management experience. She qualified as a chartered accountant from Institute of Chartered Accountants of India in the year 19 with 48th rank All India. After a stint in IDBI in Mumbai, she headed to Middle East post-marriage in 1991, where she had a stint in Central Bank of UAE in Abu Dhabi. She joined Hill and Norton, a WPP organization, in the year 1998 as a financial controller and moved up the ladder to become finance director, providing strategic financial direction for more than 17 years. And was in charge of its entire Middle East operations. He was appointed as a director on the board of directors in 2007 and was the first women to take on that position. She is competent in interacting with multinational and multicultural teams and has a positive attitude towards people. She effectively combines strengths in handling numbers with effective communication skills. She has completed a certificate course from our institute and international certificate in wealth and investment management course from Chartered Institute of Securities and Investment. She is an articulate speaker and winner of 2003 International Taped Speech Contest Award of Toastmasters International. She is adept in training teams. She has been faculty at IFRS and GMCS courses for students at our office in Dubai. She is married to a chartered accountant who is the founder and managing director of Ideal Management Consultants Dubai, a boutique transaction advisory and management consulting firm where she currently serves as a director. Jaya, thank you so much for being here with us today. I never realized, I have always been calling you Jaya, that I was also a very small kid when you became an accountant. and many of the participants will say that we were born 2 decades after you became a chartered accountant. So, your grace, has been always exceptional. What I miss is that the questions which you used to ask to the speakers when we were having, physical events, very intriguing questions. And I would also like to mention, I was not aware about your Toastmasters credentials, but I always knew that, okay, Ramesh was a founder of a Toastmasters Club of ICAI chapter in Dubai. And because I joined Toastmasters much later, but we have been talking, significantly about Toastmasters because when it comes to communication, all the speakers who have come in the past 18 days have been a Toastmasters. So very good to see that we have been getting winners. So once again, looking forward to your session. I request all the participants for a big virtual round of applause for Jaya, and Jaya, the floor is yours. Thank you. Jaya, you are on a mute, I think. Just check.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that introduction. I knew it was a risk telling you when I qualified because many of the participants would now be thinking I was not even conceived or born at that time. It gives away my age, but well, what can you do? So that is the truth. I would like to share my screen. The reason why I interrupted the previous session was, is my screen visible now?
Yes. The presentation I think is coming. It hasn't.
Not yet.
Not yet? The reason why I interrupted is basically, communication skills is so important. We cannot undermine the importance, So that is absolutely vital. Are you able to see it now?
Yes. Yeah. Perfect.
Yes. Yes, it is.
You can see it?
Yes.
You're able to see it. Okay. So communication skills is absolutely vital, and that is why I thought, with Preety highlighting it, I must jump and add in. Would you believe it? I couldn't speak a word when I got married. I could never do public speaking. I was so shy. I was camera shy. I was shy. I was very good in my technical skills, financial abilities. I worked with IDBI, etc. But the minute I stood in front of an audience, I was crippled with tremendous stage fear. And it's fantastic what an organization like Toastmasters can do, because when you come out of the country, especially, communication skills is absolutely vital. So more on that. But at the outset, I must say congratulations to all our friends here. I don't know how many are listening to this on becoming chartered accountants. Our profession and our job is one of a kind. It actually helps us lift the hood and delve deep into the business, no matter which industry, from finance to oil and gas to multinational companies. all of those industries need their hood lifted, and we can do that. Our position is unique because it gives us an immense potential to give us an overview and handle on the entire business. So the finance function, I'd like to say, is like the heart in the human body. And what happens? The heart needs to keep ticking for the body to survive. The minute the heart stops, the minute finance stops, the organization will face its end. So let's explore what opportunities we have over here. I just wanted to give a framework. Some reason my PowerPoint is stuck. Can you see this?
Yes, it is fine.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
fine.
I just wanted to give a framework on what we are going to go through in the next 45 minutes to 50 minutes. I'm going to set the scene, the rationale, the social media where, so I want to spend some time on the do's and especially the don'ts. General well-being, then a reality check for our profession, going beyond the job description. And I'm going to conclude with a real life example. Yeah. So the current scene, we do live in a very strange world. I mean, if this seminar was happening in a pre-COVID times, it would be quite different. At the moment, companies are fighting. They are, many of them in India are working on a remote basis. Everybody's trying to fight the corona pandemic. You don't know what life's going to throw at you. An increasingly number of workers are getting laid off or asked to go on leave, furlough. So it is a valid question to ask, are companies hiring at this juncture? You might ask, is there any hope of sending the CV across? What are we trying to achieve here? Should we actually send the CV? Because it is not even clear when companies are going to come back to work in their premise. It's all being remote working. Though the scene over here is very different. But we may be the minority. UAE may be the minority. Rest of the world are still doing a huge case of remote working. But even if the economists are predicting recession, I would like to say that companies may not be hiring today because they are trying to figure out how to do their business virtually. But career experts, and Preety is no exception, says it's best to keep up with networking and applying, provided you can tweak your approach to acknowledge that these times are different, they are uncertain. So the approach cannot be like what you would, and share their ideas will definitely be in a better position when companies start hiring. Companies have to start hiring, and some of them sooner than later. So relationship building is the need of the hour. So let us talk about some tips to help you navigate the job hunt process in general during the pandemic before we delve down to jobs abroad. Yeah. So first and foremost, you need to consider how urgent your search is. It may be better, especially with the second wave or the third wave, as they call it in India. You might want to hold on a bit. We used to conduct so many Zoom sessions. I'm a part of IBPC, which is the Indian Business and Professional Council. And we have a women's forum, and we used to conduct a whole bunch of programs. But at the moment, we've paused. We've taken a break because people are not in any mood to come and sit and listen to a program. They've got, news, bad news affecting them every day. Similar is the case with your job scene. You have people who are really caught in between, trying to manage, juggle, seeing what needs to be done, how to get out of this. So if you have a sustenance power, maybe you would postpone the job hunt. You could check the temperature, as they say, gauge the temperature and then search. If you are already in a job, it may not be the best job, but if it brings a meal to your table and you can continue for some more time, I would very much tell you to pause the job search. Yeah? Secondly, you have to stay flexible, be proactive, seize the day. You never know which opportunity is going to strike you when. So you have to be proactive. In behavior terms, proactivity refers to self-initiated, change-oriented, anticipatory actions. Seeing what needs to be done, being in the moment and grabbing the opportunity as it arises. If you're not employed, don't think your next job is going to be the perfect job, because it's going to be, rungs, different rungs of the ladder, and you have to be flexible. You're not going to land on your perfect job on your first job. So you need to be prepared. You need to be open to that. A warning, I'm going to be absolutely very frank here, because I don't want to lead you up the garden path and drop you down. So I'm going to, not sugarcoat anything. Yeah. Feel free to send in your questions, and Prabdeep, please let me know when questions come in. Feel free to interrupt me.
Yes.
This cannot be emphasized more. You have to forge healthy relationships, and you have to start getting comfortable networking online. Gone are the days when we could, in our times when we had to network, we spent a lot of time learning how to shake hands, because we were told your hand, the way you give your hand and shake it, how tight your hand is, how good the grip is, all of these are body languages. And these body languages say a thing or two, more than a thing or two about your personality. Gone are these days. Now, even when you meet somebody, it's namaste, right? You cannot have this. So you need to get comfortable with networking online. You have to listen before responding. You have to read. You have to be in the moment. Sometimes with this social media, and we'll get into details a little later, the urgency to respond immediately, to send it off at that spur of the moment is so high that we forget sometimes to read, take a moment, get our responses in a guarded manner. Because once you put it out over there, it's there for all to see. You may delete your message later, but then social media, the reach is so much, somebody must have read it. So you have to get comfortable. You have to seek out like-minded professionals online. There are plenty of virtual events that you can get into. Look for professional groups to join on Facebook, LinkedIn. Both platforms offer a wide range of options for every profession. Then stay in touch. Now, this again, I think Preety dwelled on it a little bit. If you have attended an interview and you thought the interview went well and job offer seemed to be on the cards, but then a week has gone by, you haven't heard from the person, should you contact the hiring manager? What should you do? My take on this is, I would suggest send him an email, send him or her an email first. And your email has to be worded in such a way that it doesn't look like it's a nag. It doesn't look like you are pestering somebody. It should be helpful. So you could perhaps say that I'm looking forward to learning more when it makes sense for your organization. This would show that you are acknowledging the fact that times are different, that the company may have different priorities, and so it's not easy for people. And so you are not demanding an answer, but you are letting them know that you are there and, you are comfortable waiting for their response and that you are thoughtful. So that is why you say, how can I help you with? Can I do an internship? Or even if you comment in such a way that shows that you have read the article and bring out your unique comment. So that illustrates that what insight you will add, what value you will add to the organization should they hire you. Your comment may be short, but then it would say a great deal about the fact that you've taken time to read it, understand it, and will also bring a picture to the organizers on what value you can bring. Then gather intel. It's absolutely necessary to find out, especially during COVID times, how each company has responded. What is their culture? Preety spoke about how employers are being adaptable. And it is very, very true. You need to see how the leadership has handled this situation and how you are affected by that. And you should let them know what it is. So when you have a chance to interview for them, You can mention what you heard, what you listened to, how that culture, resonates with you so much. All of this will go a long way in getting the company comfortable to hire you. Assess yourself, use the time to reflect. When it comes to opening doors, getting new opportunities, self-knowledge is a very, very powerful tool. Knowing your strengths, what are your weaknesses, this will help you recognize areas where you can excel, where you can prepare. Start by focusing on what you already know, and then on your weaknesses, how you can beef them up, how you can overcome these weaknesses. I'm a great believer in a pen and a pad, or it doesn't have to be a pen and a pad. You can digitally note down. I'm conscious I'm speaking to millennials who may not know what a pen and a pad is, but these notes can be done on a digital surface. But please do write it down. When you sit down to write a list down of what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and how you can play these weaknesses, how you can overcome these weaknesses. By the same token, because you've used the time to reflect, you will be better prepared for interviews as well. Job seekers, often they are asked these questions, so you can take advantage of the slowing job market and actually sit down and put this in writing. Also, another very effective way to do, thanks to things like LinkedIn, people's attention span is very short these days. So gone are the days where you could impress somebody with a 4-page resume. People don't have time for that. Do a smart, slick 1-pager where the main highlights are put somewhere so that if a person has only 1 minute, they know what to look at and they get a grasp of what you're trying to convey. So work on creating this document. It's very easy to create a 6-pager resume, but it is extremely tough to concise everything in 1 page. It is extremely difficult to pick out, the various grains from a bushel of chaff. You need to do that and take advantage of the slowdown to do that. Preety has already emphasized on this, so I will not concentrate on this too much. But now is the perfect time to boost your skills. There was a question asked about, several attempts made and then CA exam being cracked. My take on that would be you should beef up with something else as well. So if you use this time to do, and our institute is great in this in this aspect, they bring out courses which are relevant. They bring out courses on valuation. They bring out courses on IFRS, on AI. Look out for these courses and see how you can supplement your skill. So the minute somebody asks you how many attempts you took for CA, you could say, you know what? Since then, I've done this, this, and this. And I think the need of the hour is some AI skills. So not only am I a chartered accountant, I also have this where I can apply my chartered accountancy to an AI. It also shows you're persistent. You did not give up. I would highlight the fact that despite my failure, I did not give up. I was persistent. I tried one more time till I got it. So you could use this to boost your kind of complement your talent rather than concentrate on the weakness. There are lots of free online courses, including MOOCs, edX classes, Microsoft training. LinkedIn has some training. Coursera, of course, was mentioned. The other one I'm really fond of is setting goals. Now, you might think, this is supposed to be a session on how to get a job abroad. So what is setting a goal doing here? Goal setting is used by Olympic athletes, by industry leaders, high achievers across the board. You need to have your own wish list on the goals and steps that you are going to take to achieve them. It is a really powerful process for thinking clarity, for getting yourself clear about the future that you want for yourself. When you set out clearly defined goals and meet them, there is a big spurt in your confidence, in your self-confidence, in your level of motivation. All of this gets such a boost when you just sit and set goals for yourself. And last but not least, I love to quote, Thomas Edison, who said that the most certain way to success is always to try just one more time. Perseverance is critical to seizing opportunity. See, the first opportunity that comes by may not be the perfect one, but you have to have determination, have to have a great positive attitude. Your hard work and diligence and a positive attitude will pay you handsome dividends when the right opportunity strikes. So it is this attitude that will continue to keep you in the game. So you have to keep trying. Now coming to the brass tacks. Let's get into strategies for getting a job abroad. Are there any questions so far, Deep?
Not yet, Jaya.
Okay.
We have, we have, I forgot. Sri is asking that any tips for networking online. And
We'll come to that. Okay.
Yeah, and there are 4 or 5 comments where, people said that, no, you are very beautiful and you look young and thank you for being there.
Thank you. That certainly made my day. I like to consider myself part of your gen, and so this has really given me a self-confidence now, I must say. Yeah. So let's come to some brass tacks on getting a job abroad. Yeah. The first one is prioritize the change that is most important to you. Now, in this changing world, many of us already are, I think, if we are addressing 2019 qualified candidates, you must already be in some job. It may not be the perfect job. You may be quite, it's not like if you thought I'm a chartered accountant, so I expected to do something much more than what I was doing when I was an article clerk. So let me change my job. But you need to get your priorities in order. Do you want a job abroad or do you want a career change? If you want a job abroad, then you must actually continue to do the job that you're doing because you may have got or gained expertise in that job. And then it's easier to do the change in the location. If you think location is not important, but my career is important, then you should put all your efforts in moving up the rank. So then getting a job abroad is not the priority. You could get that change in your career path where you are. So you need to decide for yourself, what do I want to do? In the 90s, there was this great wave of everybody coming to the Gulf to do the 2 years. Our generation had very clear-cut goals. Many of us from middle-class families, we'd seen our families or parents, struggle to make ends meet. So for us, money was very important. And for that, the goal was very clear. Go abroad, go to the Gulf. Abroad meant go to the Gulf. Do a stint for 2 years. Get your capital. Come back to India. Of course, those 2 years kept stretching. And then suddenly you find that 30 years on, you're still in the Gulf. So this is very, very important. As millennials, I think many of you do not have that goal of, getting your capital base. The goals have changed. So you need to prioritize that change which is important to you and work towards that. If you continue doing a job in which you are an expert, moving country and continuing in that job may be a breeze, may be an entry point. Yes. The second one is you have to start your job search early because job search takes time, and these days, in these circumstances, in this environment, it takes much, much longer. Give yourself 6 months, cut yourself some slack. Gone are the days where you apply today, get an interview call in 2 weeks, and then you've got your new job starting a month away. It may take 6 to 9 months. Be prepared for the long haul. Yeah? Everybody wants to come to Dubai to work. But, there may be jobs in Abu Dhabi. There may be jobs in Fujairah. There may be jobs in Ras Al Khaimah. Have you ever heard of this emirate called Alain? Which is part of, it's not an emirate, it's part of Abu Dhabi, but it's a place in the Gulf. Al Quwain. These are less competitive cities. So, but if you ask, by and large, where is your dream job? Everybody would say, typically, I want to come to Dubai. Sharjah is only, 15 kilometers from here. It takes less than half an hour to reach Sharjah. So maybe if you so badly want to come abroad, Dubai, there's a lot of competition. A lot of people are applying to be in Dubai. Maybe try the other places. Maybe Qatar, maybe Oman, maybe Muscat, maybe Bahrain. So target less competitive cities where you might have a better chance with your qualifications and your experience. Another thing, maybe it's not KPMG that you want to do your first stint in. Maybe it could be another mid-sized company. Target small and medium-sized companies. Use them as your stepping stones to get into organizations like KPMG and Deloitte. Your first job may not. See, everybody doesn't. It requires a certain luck, I would say, or you have to be at the right place at the right time for things to happen. So for all getting a job with Deloitte or PwC or KPMG as your first job may not happen. So it's okay to target medium and small sized companies. Absolutely no problem. Leverage your existing network and tirelessly grow a new one. How do you network? How do you leverage your existing network? By LinkedIn. In all of this, I have to bring forth one bitter truth. It's not what you know, it's who you know. It might sound strange coming from me, but there was a time when I would think that just our talent would take us somewhere. The world is not made of that kind of reality. In our present world, and especially so now, it is your professional and your personal network that can yield great opportunities. It is not what you know, but who you know that would make a difference. Reach out. Our network, our CA network is huge. Reach out. But there is a fine border that you strike by making sure that you're not just reaching out to get a job. People, typically when I get a LinkedIn friend request, it so happens that next day I'll get the resume. So sad. You're trying to network and then immediately, putting a CV across for a job. In Indian context, we would say that's very matlabi. You're networking for a matlabi reason, right? You have to network for a genuine reason. This is an opportunity for all of us in this day and age where social media affords us an opportunity to link through LinkedIn and other social media channels to link with prominent personalities. I mean, we can link with Raghuram Rajarams of the world or the CEOs, and just not for a job. It could be linked out of genuine interest. Find out where your passion is, what interests you, and genuinely network. Somebody has brought out a blog out, listen to the podcast, and genuinely comment. Do not comment and send your CV the next day. Yeah? Do not be matlabi. Again, I would talk about your unique skill. You need to have one unique skill, and it is very, very vital. I am addressing this in a later slide too. Other than the CA, we need to process one more unique skill, at least one unique skill. We need to get into that dialogue about AI. We have to be in the game, and this would secure that we are in the right target job market. So we need to make sure, and everybody's aptitude may not be in AI. Somebody's aptitude may be in IFRS. Somebody's aptitude may be in valuation of companies. How do you do valuation of, companies of today, which are not brick and mortar stores, which are all e-commerce? So there are plenty of opportunities and plenty of skills that are out there waiting for your potential to harness it. It is for you to decide. You need to do your homework. You need to sit down and find out where your aptitude is. Try out different things. If it doesn't work, go to the next one. It is going to be a long drawn game, but at the end of it, you will know what is that critical skill that you have aptitude for and you can brief your skills, and you can target your dream job. Dream job does exist, telling you. It's just that we need to do the hard homework on how we can get it. And consider alternative entry paths. Maybe you start off with a multinational company in India itself. All multinationals are in India. So maybe you want to be in the US or in Dubai, or you want to be in Australia. Start with a company in India. Hill & Knowlton is a fine example. We are part of the WPP organization. It's an advertising company. And it's got plenty of companies within its fold. Maybe you start in one company, network with the Hill & Knowlton people, network with WPP people, and then maybe branch out and then go on exchange programs, etc. So this could be another. So a job search is like a marathon. You can't cut corners on the preparation and expect to finish in a record time. It will take time. Be there for the long haul. So what are the methods? Traditional methods? This is the method that I had 3 decades ago when I had to come here, leaving my IDBI job. I was in IDBI when it was a financial institution, not the bank. Many of you may not know it was a financial institution before it became a bank. And I used to look at, Gulf News, Khaleej Times, pour over advertisements, newspaper as a source. This hasn't died. This is still around. Through an agency, again, recruitment agencies haven't died out. There are recruitment agencies. Register yourself with recruitment agencies. Move abroad and find work. You have relatives somewhere. Try and see which place, how you can find work, whether it is possible. If you're the adventurous sort, get a holiday visa, explore, see where you want to be, do a work exchange, volunteer for an organization. The first job doesn't have to be a paying job. You might say, I have some skills. I want to see if it works for your organization. Can I work free of charge in a particular place? People love to hear the word free. And from your perspective, you can try out. Does it work? Our institute has such great opportunities. You could check out, the institute publications brought out by the International Affairs Committee. It's called the Global Career E-Kits. Check them out. The Committee for Development of International Trade Services and WTA initiatives have also brought out a quick insights on professional opportunities abroad. Check this out. Check out the e-book accounting process outsourcing. India is in such a fantastic position where our outsourcing industry is huge. So the opportunities are out there, tremendous opportunities. These could be your stepping stones to actually working abroad. Explore anything and everything. The second way, other than the traditional method, is use of social media. And social media has transformed the whole way of operation. Our lives are increasingly public. We will all market our personal brand via social media. There was an interesting session by one of my fellow members here, Pankaj, on how you create your persona, how you create your personal brand. Your online presence is even more important when you're looking for a new job because employers will investigate candidates' social media accounts. This is a given. There is no turning back from that. They will view these platforms to gauge your character, your activities, because they want a candidate at the end of the day who will be a great fit for their company. They're not doing out of personal interest or out of gossip. They want to ensure that there's a lot of time and energy that is spent in recruitment. So they need somebody who will be a good fit. You can't keep doing recruitment. You have to do it in such a manner that you get employees who are best fits, right? So you do need to know, you need to be active in social media. Okay? Now let's look at I hope these cartoons of mine bring some laughs. Unfortunately, we are in this platform where we are unable to hear any laughs. So please go ahead and laugh at the cartoons. So the advent of social media is having a huge impact on job search today. It is absolutely vital that job seekers of all age, whether mine, if I'm seeking a job, or you, when you're just starting a career path, to learn to use social medias. I started working at a time when we had typewriters, we had telex machines, we had fax machines. Many of you may not even know what a fax machine was used for those days. These have all become obsolete. But we used to think fax is a great invention because you sit and fax a page at this end and it goes and reaches somebody else in any other country. Who would have thought social media is going to invade? So we had, people of my generation have had to do constant learning to keep pace with you guys, to be relevant, to be wanted, to be needed. So social media, we have to learn to use. My father-in-law, who's 90 plus, is adept at WhatsApp because he had to keep in touch with his grandchildren. They don't call anymore; they just WhatsApp. That's not important enough to just know how to use a phone. You need to know how to use your WhatsApp. So people of all ages have to learn to use social media tools. So which social media should you concentrate on? This is like such a jumble. What should you concentrate on? This is where hiring managers look at. LinkedIn, no-brainer, no prizes for guessing the right answer. 79% of LinkedIn recruitment jobs are done through LinkedIn. You'll be surprised. Facebook, 26%. Twitter, 14%. Candidates blog, and fantastic avenue for expressing your views. Fantastic avenue for putting your social footprint to make sure that people who are reading the blog know that you can generate ideas, you are creative, you can create a written piece of work. In our curriculum, as a chartered accountant, unfortunately, we do not have a subject which talks about, you can write reports. Chartered accountants of today, or of any generation, are great in presenting an Excel sheet, great in giving numbers, great in closing the books, great in bringing out, reports. But can we present our numbers? Most of today's CEOs, millennials like yourself, do not understand spreadsheets, do not understand numbers. For us, numbers tell a story. You just have to look at a balance sheet and the whole kundali of the company is unearthed. But today's CEOs don't have the patience or time for numbers. They need something, a snapshot. And that snapshot should be something that helps them decide what the next step is going to be. So it is in our interest to be relevant, to know how to present this, how to write reports, what language to look at. Our communication language is of utmost importance. We need to concentrate on it. We need to use this time to beef up that. Most popular social network sites for job seekers are Facebook, then Twitter, and then, Google, YouTubes and bloggers, etc. And LinkedIn, unfortunately, is the fourth. But from a recruiter's point of view, what is most important? 94% look at LinkedIn. Then they also look at Facebook, Twitter, and of course the other things, right? So what are the tips for leveraging your social media accounts? Now, Preety did touch upon this in a little way. Let me very quickly talk about, knowing your platforms. And she dwelt at length about LinkedIn. For professional purposes, LinkedIn is the best. There is no debating that. I do know, personally, I feel LinkedIn's not user-friendly. LinkedIn's social platform can be better. There are other channels which are a little more user-friendly. But from the recruitment point of view, if you want a job and if you want a job abroad, make sure you know how to operate LinkedIn, how to make sure that how you're taking advantage of a LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the best. And make sure that your CV on LinkedIn is current. It is very frustrating for a recruiter to be sent a CV by you by email, and then when they go and check on your LinkedIn profile, that sees something else. Because that could be a CV from 5 years old or, 5 years back or even 5 months ago. You have to be current. You have to make sure that you're sending similar messages from various media that you're using, right? Facebook, is also important as a platform. What is important in Facebook is basically you need to ensure that it is not throbbing your message. It is not making your image, diluting your image or tarnishing your image. You need to make sure that you are untagged on those compromising pictures. This is important. This is absolutely important. Today's world, when we were growing up, we didn't have any of the social media. We could go out on picnics, create havoc, and the world would not know. Even our parents didn't know what we were up to. But in this day and age, sitting thousands of miles away, a potential employer who has no knowledge of you, your skills, etc., can go to Facebook and do a search. And if he finds an image that is different from what your LinkedIn profile is saying, he will cast a doubt. It will generate a doubt in his mind or her mind. So it's absolutely vital that your image doesn't tarnish. And so you might turn around asking, but Facebook is for fun. We need to connect with our friends. What is important with friendship, etc.? You can still have that. In that case, what you need to do is set up 2 pages. One can be a professional page. One can be a personal page. Make sure that personal page and professional page, the twain shall not mix. It is very easy to do that. Create 2 profiles, one for fun, one for seriousness. But it is absolutely vital to do this. Yeah. Instagram, we have various ways in which people are sending in their CVs. Everybody wants to show they're creative. We had a CV recently wherein an Instagram link was sent to us. And there is this person standing in front of an exotic locale and talking about himself. So use these platforms. It's not that everybody can do this. See what suits your personality. See what you're comfortable with. Keep practicing, keep trying out, and then, zero in on what works for you. I don't have to tell you about hashtags and, things of that kind. Twitter is not a personal favorite of mine. Twitter has been the graveyard of many who have used it, not very wisely. I am on Twitter, but I am very, very careful on what I tweet. I might follow people. It's a great medium for following people to see what companies are up to. Many of the companies have Twitter accounts, so you can be up to date on what they have done, especially in COVID times. If you want to use it in an interview, or want to kind of talk to the HR person, you've got to follow the HR person on Twitter. But it is like a little stepping stone. Unless you're absolutely sure what you're tweeting, do not tweet. Pinterest, these are certain other platforms, YouTube, etc. But there is enough and more. One thing that you need to be very, very careful, I call this social media platform where we talk about it in India as kundalis out there, it's horoscope, it's there. I call it as horoscope, HORROR. Because if you have tweeted something or if you have something on your Facebook which comes back to haunt you in later life, especially in your professional life, it shouldn't be out there. So if you, in a meeting with face-to-face meeting, wouldn't tell somebody something on their face, do not put it out there on social media just because you can. Got to be very guarded, yeah? Engage with others in your field. Use a professional profile picture, which Preety also mentioned. It makes a huge difference. Your personality, your persona, what is conveyed from a professional picture. Remember, you do not have the benefit of meeting somebody face to face to show your body language. So your picture should say it all. A picture counts for 1,000 words. Make sure it's professional words. Very, very important. More than what you should post is what not to post. And so it is extremely, extremely vital what not to post. Use your common sense. Because posting is so easy, because posting is available at your fingertips, many of us forget what not to post. Do not post inappropriate or offensive material on any social media platform. You will be found. Even if you delete immediately, you will be found. Avoid posting controversial comments. Avoid posting polarizing comments. Your prospective employers need to see that you are somebody who brings people together. You do not polarize. You don't divide people. And that comes from seeing what you post. Do not post argumentative content. Do not discuss past employers or your work situations on any social media account. See, many of us in our chartered accountancy jobs are privy to professional secrets, trade secrets. We owe a duty to our institute to safeguard this, our employers, to make sure that we act with absolute professionalism. We cannot be trivializing it by discussing it, especially on a social media. Yeah? We may not have signed NDAs, but we have a duty to ourselves, to our employees, and to our institute to act in a professional manner. Keep your content absolutely positive. And so there are certain posts that can leave employers with a very, very bad impression. So when it comes to job searching with social media, 79% of hiring managers and recruiters review online information about job applicants before making a hiring decision. And what's really frightening to notice, out of this, 70% have said that they have rejected applicants because of what they saw on social media. Imagine, 70%. That means they have decided to hire somebody, then they go to the social media platform and then immediately reject them. 70%. That shows how important it is. Yeah? So there are certain posts that can leave your employers with a bad impression. These are challenging or unsuitable photographs, biased comments. You have to be inclusive. You cannot show gender, religion, race, information on your personal habits, bad-mouthing anybody for that matter, sharing personal information, finding out that you've lied. Lies will be found out. Like Preety rightly said, poor communication skills, unprofessional display name. When you want a job, when you are doing a social media engagement for a specific purpose of a job, make sure your display name is not trivialized. Make sure your display name is professional. Yeah. Posts that could impress employers, be a thought leader, show personality, follow job search experts. You never know which opportunity you might land when you look at it. Follow people at your dream companies. It's okay to have a dream job and it's okay to pursue a dream job. Use hashtags, use keywords, use Twitter to improve your knowledge about your in-person networking rather than actual tweet. Yeah. Any questions so far? Do I need to take a pause?
Jaya, we have many questions, in fact.
Okay.
We will go one by one. So, Jayesh,
So, do you think we should take the questions? I have maybe about 5 more minutes or 6 more minutes of matter. Can we take it at the end?
No, you can finish your content, then we can take.
Yeah, we'll take the questions in the last time. You finish with your slides, we'll take the question in one go.
Fine. I want to leave you with the secret, actually. There are some general tips. I don't know how many of you have read the book called The Secret, Rhonda Byrne. There was a movie also that came out, but I'm a book person, not a movie person. Read the book. It's like a gospel. Yeah. What Secret says is, if you want, in a nutshell, if I were to condense this book in one line, if you want something really badly, the universe conspires to bring it to you. It is extremely true. If you want something really badly, the universe conspires to bring it to you. Believe in it. Please read the book. Journaling. Somebody talked about journaling. Was it in the conflict resolution session? This is so important because we have 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts a day. Sometimes we feel overwhelmed, and when we realize what we've done, we haven't done much that day. And it's because of these thoughts, the journals. So journaling is extremely important. Yeah. Break down your goals. We've talked about goal setting. The reason it's here is I'm a firm believer of goal setting. Go deep within yourself. Ask your questions to yourself. You are your worst interviewer or the harshest interviewer. How to prepare for an interview? Ask yourself the tough questions and get your answers. What am I passionate about? What are my accomplishments that I'm proud about? What are my hobbies? If I didn't have a concern about money, how would I spend time? How humane am I? How have I adapted to this COVID times? What compliments do I cherish the most? What motivates me? These questions, I believe, will help you with your interview. Meditation. I can't emphasize enough on meditation. I also watched the other session where somebody said they don't have time for meditation. It'll be great to have time. I'm a firm believer you always have time for what you want. And meditation these days is very simple because you have apps like Headspace and various other things where you can meditate. But spending that quiet hour, 5 minutes every day helps a lot. So I love the Nike way. Once you're in the role, just do it. What can go? Nothing. In this world, there's nothing right or wrong. It's all a kind of a canvas for us to try out. No harm in trying out. Just do it. Go out there. Maybe it doesn't succeed the first time. Maybe it doesn't succeed the 6th time. But no harm. The person finished his chartered accountancy the 12th time. That is a great inspiration. So just do it. Do it. There's no right or wrong. And why should we aim for a job abroad or job outside our comfort zone? This is my personal experience. My communication skills have improved. It is, just the idea of working with people from several different backgrounds exposes you to so much more in life that it is fantastic. Take advantage of global networking opportunities. You meet so many people from so many other different walks of life. It is a fantastic way to live life. International experience gives you certainly a competitive edge. It is worth having that 5 years in an international company or an international local. Overseas experience, we've already talked about life experience, and it opens yourself to bigger and better international jobs. Here is a quick reality check. I don't want to depress you on a Thursday evening, but if you have a chance, please go and read this World Economic Forum report of October 2020. It is a very, very relevant report talking about the future of jobs. It is not a very pleasant read. It is not a very positive read, but I think it is very, very relevant because in short, what it says is 40% of our core skill set will change in the next 5 years. 40% of our core skill set in the next 5 years. And 50% of our employees, all the employees out there, 50%, half of them will need to reskill to be relevant, to support business growth. That's frightening. There are some key findings. I will make sure that this presentation is shared so that you can go through this. But it is worth spending some time looking at what these key findings are and also upskilling, reskilling, retooling based on how relevant we want to be in future and what we need to do today for getting the job of tomorrow. Yeah? Extremely, extremely important. So please do read this report. The one thing that I would want to highlight in this page, there is a page on financial. They've done it industry-wise. They've done it country-wise. What's relevant to us is industries, our industry, financial services. Let me zoom in. What caused an absolute horrifying thing is, see this red circled portion. These are the jobs that are going to be redundant in the next 5 years. I don't want to read them out, but we all need to be aware. We all need to do whatever is necessary to make sure that we are in the conversation of tomorrow. And so it is absolutely important, yeah? So this is my favorite slide. Go beyond the job description. Preety touched on it briefly. If you are in a job yourself, and this is a tried and tested formula, When I was with Central Bank of the UAE, fresh, new, like yourselves, I was in the accounts department. Central Bank of the UAE is like a typical government job. Lots of locals. I learned to work with lots of, UAE nationals. The central bank work timing was a 6-hour work day. And they used to come, drink coffee, move around, talk to people. I was fresh from India. I needed to get back to doing something. So my job would take me only 2 hours. After that, I didn't know what to do. I actually went to the governor and made history in central bank. Nobody has gone to the governor to ask for a job. But I was young, I was not afraid, and much to the dismay of my colleagues, I went to the governor to ask for a job. So, I did face a backlash because of that, so I'm not saying do that. But an exceptional employee has a two-job mindset. One is the job that you are hired to do. Second is the job that you need to decide what you want to do. And go and grab it. There are opportunities everywhere. You need to find them and grab it. You need to spot them and grab it. Yeah. So by taking on more tasks, you are actually giving the impression that you're willing to do more. Yeah. An exceptional employee is open to developing new skills. An exceptional employee will ask for more responsibilities. I must say, Hill & Norton is a public relations company. And when I was with them, I realized our community, our finance function has done a pretty poor job of marketing itself, pretty poor PR job on ourselves. When people see accountants, oh my God, I've not filled in my timesheet. That is their thing. Oh, this accountant is here to hound me for my expense report. I immediately realized that we bring that, oh my God, people over here were not willing to listen to accountants. They knew if accountants have come with, it means bad news. And we immediately, me and my team, set on the task of doing a facelift for accounting, facelift for our department to show how willing, how cooperative we are, what a team player we are. We are there to help. What can I do to help? That should be our attitude. Please fill in your timesheet. Please put in your expense report. Your report is incomplete. I cannot complete my job with that. Maybe our way of dealing with them right now, but it's not enough. We need to go out there and make sure that we show ourselves as a team player. I want to leave you on a positive note before I take on questions. I don't know how many of you have read the latest Time the Brief. There is a report about Leena Nair, who's Unilever's HR manager, and she started a career with Hindustan Unilever 25 years ago as a management trainee, where she held a range of roles, including becoming the first woman to work on the factory floor. She did not say, "This is not my job," sorry. When she joined, only 2% of Hindustan Unilever's employees were women. Last year, Unilever announced that this is gender balanced across its management globally. Leena Nair, 51, is the first female and first Asian chief human resources officer of the company. And when she was asked what the future of work looked like, here is a glimpse into what companies like Unilever are doing. They are introducing 4-day work week experiments in various places. They are starting programs called You Work, where they tell the employees, if you just want to work for 6 months a year and then go and travel for the remaining 6 months, travel seems to be a dream right now, but we will get over these times. Or maybe you want to spend 6 months learning something. They have an avenue. Today's companies have more opportunities than we can ever envisage. It is up to us to harness their potential. The opportunities are out there. Go grab them. When asked, what have you been doing for your own mental well-being? Remember, this is the Chief Human Resources Officer of a multinational company, Unilever, who's based in London. She looks after the global HR of Unilever. Look what she says. I have written a gratitude journal every night for the last few years. And I do a 20-minute meditation practice every morning. If Leena Nair, believe me, has the time to do so, you and I certainly can do that. And we need things which we are passionate about, things that we care about. which is so important to help us get things that we want right now, to help us going through these extremely turbulent and tough times. So this I thought was extremely inspirational, and so I wanted to leave you on a high before I take questions. Pradeep, shoot.
Yeah. Thank you. Quickly, Jaya, we will go as we are over time. On the overseas attempts, a member is asking, can he say that I don't want to be judged on number of attempts directly? Would it sound negative?
It would, because, essentially you cannot prescribe what people should judge and not judge. Judging is a very personal thing. The minute you say, I don't want to be judged, hey, who are you to tell us how to judge you? So it's best to avoid that. See, what Preety said made a lot of sense. Do not dwell on it too long. Turn it on its heels. Come up with what you did during those 12 attempts. What experience during those attempts, despite having jobs with X, Y, and Z. This is what I accomplished. My practical experience got beefed up. This is one area where I, had a chance to work practically. I'm sure you can take out those nuggets.
Right. The next question is, are CVs made for abroad jobs different from what we make in India?
I think so. Because in abroad, it's like applying for an university. If you want to apply for a Harvard or Ivy League university in the US, it is not enough to show your qualifications. It can take you only this far. You need to show other skills. You need to show your team player. You need to show your collaborative skills. Nowadays, it's all about collaboration, team play, how adaptable you are, how flexible you are, so multi-talented you are. So it is different. Check out, the internet is a great place to check out some great CVs. Also, the traditional way of putting a CV out is getting a metamorphosis. There are different ways of sending your CV. Multiple ways of doing so to create to create an impression. Check them out and tailor it differently.
Right.
I would even go as far as saying that if you're applying to a particular company, like if it's oil and natural gas, highlight your oil and natural gas abilities. When we need an intro for a different thing, we tailor make it. So in your CV, tailor make it, tweak it, make sure that, those things what the employer to whom you're applying is looking for is highlighted.
Right. Jay, we'll take last question. That if I as an individual do not know anyone abroad, then how I can start networking abroad, not knowing anyone? Like how I can connect on LinkedIn or other platforms?
Yeah, the world is your oyster. Thanks to social media, now the world is your oyster. You cannot say that I don't know anybody abroad. No, you will definitely know somebody. It's such a connected, such an interconnected world that that excuse doesn't hold good. Just because you connected with somebody doesn't mean a job will materialize soon. That is the misconception. You don't connect for a job. That is being very matlabi. Let me repeat it again. Don't connect for the singular reason of getting a job. Connect for a genuine interest. See, job is not the be all or end all. It's your ultimate goal. There are steps to get there. You want to reach the 20th floor of your building. Do you go from ground to direct jump into 20th? No. Even the lift has to take you, maybe it doesn't open or on the mezzanine or the first floor, second floor, but it has to go through, through those paths. So a job is like a marathon. You cannot just, crack it at the first go. Be patient and connect. Keep trying.
Right. Thank you so much. I will request Ranganathan ji to please propose a vote of thanks to you.
Before that, I would like to thank, I'm eternally grateful to the Institute for molding me into whom I am. I'm so thankful that I became a chartered accountant. I want to express my gratitude to the President, C.A. Nihar Jabusaria, and the Vice President, Debashish Mitra. I would also like to thank the Committee for Members in Industry and Business and the Central Council members, C.A. Hansraj Chugh, Chairman, and C.A. Durgesh Kabra, Vice Chairman. Mr. Ranganathan yourself, the secretary. A very, very special thank you to CA Prabdeep Singh Bhavija, Regional Director, Middle East and Africa, for reaching out to me and giving me this opportunity to explore, which, didn't take me too long. I grabbed it with both my hands. I have enjoyed interacting with you young chartered accountants. I do hope you found this session useful. I do hope you get your dream job. All the very best to you in your career, and wishing you an enjoyable journey and success at the end of it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Ranganathan ji, please.
Yes. Ma'am, it is rather the ICAI which is extremely grateful and also honored to have people like you on its membership role. You really bring laurels to ICAI, and we are very proud of you, ma'am. I would say on this your session of today, the real takeaways for this young CS would be, the networking, the use of social media, and more importantly, remaining flexible with choices. The strategy slide which you had presented was wonderful, where you had given the priorities to start early, targeting less competitive cities, targeting SMEs, developing unique skills, and most importantly, what not to post in the social media. They were all fantastic. Very well conducted session, ma'am. Once again, thank you so very much, and proud to have you as a member. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Before the participants go, please remember tomorrow on the last day of this program, we are doing a team building session where approach is how you approach, how you bond, and also how you coach yourself for a high performance. So great sessions tomorrow at the end of the day. We will be soon coming up with a new program also, which will be announced soon in a gap of 3-4 days, and looking forward to have you in those also. So we are all excited to continue this journey of series with your feedback. The inspiration of our chairman of the committee, C. Hansraj Chugh, and vice chairman, C. Durgesh Kabra, has been keeping us going to make a difference, and we would like to make it for a few more days. We may go beyond 40 days in this series of program. Already 18, 19 we have completed. Looking forward to have you on each day. Stay safe, take care, good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Good night to you. Bye-bye.